The effects of the deadly coronavirus are dominating headlines worldwide and impacting a number of industries. The technology sector is one of them. Tech Guide editor Stephen Fenech is here to talk about the impact. What are some of the companies that are suffering at the moment because of this?
Good morning, Tim. It's having some widespread effect, obviously, and obviously the effect on human life is the most important thing. But the tech sector, China being a major area of factories and infrastructure, is affecting a lot of tech companies, in particular Apple. Apple have quite a footprint in China, not just for their factories, but also a number of stores they have there. And all the supply chain to build all their devices are also being impacted by the coronavirus. So what in particular is happening now is that Apple was reportedly due to start production on their new, more affordable iPhone in February. It's going to be called either the iPhone 9 or the iPhone SE 2. So a lot of rumours there, but that it was supposed to go into production this month. But the supply chain and the closure of a number of stores, factories being closed periodically as well, that's really going to take its toll. On top of that, Apple are also, because they travel regularly from San Francisco to China with United Airlines, and United has actually stopped flights for the moment to China. So a lot of their executives that travel back and forth is also being disrupted as well. So there's a number of things that are going on that are adding up to this disruption that could possibly lead to the delay of the release of this new iPhone.
I suppose the big question in this space, and of course, as you mentioned, the human life is the top priority, but in this space, as we discuss technology, what does this mean for consumers?
Well, it just means that the products that we're expecting may be delayed. I think Apple's the best example, but there's so many businesses that are running in China. It's actually having an odd effect. The semiconductor business is huge in China, and because of the coronavirus, some companies have had to access semiconductors from other companies. So US semiconductor companies are suddenly seeing a spike in their sales now because these companies are sourcing from them rather than from the traditional suppliers in China. So there's all these other factors that are going on, some beneficial to some US suppliers, but other major tech companies, Apple included, are feeling the impact.
Moving on, Huawei has been allowed to help build the UK's 5G network. Is this still a security risk?
Well, the Huawei stories goes back a little while, and they were kind of considered a high-risk vendor because of they're a Chinese company and they've got perceived connections to the Chinese government. Australia, they banned Huawei from our 5G rollout in August 2018. In fact, it was the very last thing Malcolm Turnbull did the day he was kicked out as Prime Minister. It was one of the last decisions he made.
But do you think this will open the door?
Well, hopefully, yeah, but because what's happened with the UK, they had this parliamentary inquiry and they found that, without getting too technical, that there are two parts of a 5G network, a core and non-core side of the network. Huawei's been allowed to work on the non-core side of the network. Now, what they claim is that Malcolm Turnbull based his decision on false information. He didn't take the non-core and core parts of the network into consideration. So whether this means that Australia will reconsider, I doubt it. I think the horse has bolted. There's other companies now, Nokia, Ericsson, that are now building the 5G networks for Telstra, Optus and Vodafone. So I think the horse has bolted. But Huawei have contracts in more than 50 countries around the world building 5G networks. They're already here with a 4G network. I've got breaking news. They built the 4G network already. So trying to keep them out of Australia, they're here already. So, they're already in countries like South Korea, Finland, all around the world. Whether Australia reverses its decision, I doubt it, but the UK decision is a big tick for them to moving forward.